A quiet question in the dark. Why 3 a.m.? Have you ever stared at the ceiling in the stillness of early morning? The clock glowing 3:00 a.m., your house silent, your thoughts loud. Maybe you're like John, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Kansas. He used to sleep like a rock, the kind of man who could nod off during a baseball game and wake up just in time for the last pitch. But lately, for reasons he can't quite explain, his eyes snap open at 3 a.m. sharp. Not because of a noise, not because of a bad dream, just awake. He doesn't feel anxious. He's not in pain. But sleep, once so familiar, now feels like a stranger who slips out the door before dawn. And John isn't alone. Across the country, thousands of older adults wake up around 3 a.m. every night. Some roll over and fall back asleep. Others lie still, wondering what changed in their bodies, in their minds, in their lives. It's easy to blame aging. I'm just getting old, we tell ourselves. But what if that's only part of the story? What if your body is trying to tell you something important? Not just about sleep, but about the silent rhythms of your health, hormones, emotions, and life experience. In this video, we're going beyond the typical tips about melatonin and sleep hygiene. We're diving deep into the heart of why so many people wake up at 3 a.m., not just with science, but with stories. Not just with facts, but with empathy. You'll hear about the real age-related shifts in your internal clock that most people never talk about. The surprising connections between sleep and emotional restlessness, how changes in hormone levels, physical health, and daily routine create a perfect storm at 3 a.m., and most importantly, how to work with your body, not against it. Find peace again in the night. We'll walk through 5 core reasons this happens, not as a medical lecture, but as a conversation, honest, gentle, human. Because this isn't just about sleep. It's about the questions we ask in the dark. It's about learning to listen to the quiet signals of your body. It's about forgiving yourself for not sleeping like you used to. And most of all, it's about reclaiming the rest you deserve. So if you've ever sat in your kitchen at 3:12 a.m., a warm mug in your hands wondering, what's wrong with me? Stay with me. You're not broken. You're not alone. And you're not the only one waking up in the quiet hours searching for a little more peace. We begin with the first of 5 powerful insights into why this keeps happening and how you can respond to it with compassion, understanding, and hope. Let's talk about what your body might really be trying to say. When the world is still and the clock strikes 3, the gentle shift of the sleep clock. Understanding advanced sleep phase in older adults. As we age, we don't just accumulate memories. We also undergo subtle changes in how our bodies move through the day, and more importantly, through the night. One of the most overlooked yet powerful changes is a shift in our internal sleep clock, a phenomenon known as advanced sleep phase. Let's say you're someone who used to enjoy staying up until 11 p.m., watching a good movie or reading a book. But lately you find yourself nodding off at 8:30 p.m., only to be wide awake by 3:00 a.m., hours before sunrise. This isn't necessarily insomnia or a sleeping problem. It's your circadian rhythm adjusting itself with age. Circadian rhythm is the internal clock that helps regulate sleep and wake cycles. And in older adults, it naturally starts moving earlier. You begin feeling sleepy sooner in the evening, and consequently, your body finishes its rest earlier in the morning. What used to be a healthy 7 to 8 hour stretch from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. may now become 9 p.m. to 4 a.m., even if your lifestyle hasn't changed. For many older Americans, this shift can feel confusing or even disruptive. You might lie awake at 3:30 a.m., feeling alert, wondering what went wrong. But nothing's wrong. Your body is simply asking you to reframe what normal sleep looks like in this new chapter of life. Take Charles, for example, a 68-year-old retiree in Oregon. After years of working a 9-to-5 job, his days have become slower, quieter, and less structured. He eats dinner around 5:30, relaxes in front of the TV, and often finds himself in bed before 9 p.m. As a result, he frequently wakes up at 3 or 3:30 a.m., confused and restless. At first, Charles thought he had developed insomnia, but after talking with his doctor and reading more about circadian rhythms, he realized his sleep wasn't broken. It had just shifted. With this understanding, Charles started tweaking his habits, reading in the evening with a warm lamp, calling his daughter for a short chat before bed, or taking a gentle evening walk. These small cues help delay his bedtime and reset his sleep window, giving him a fuller, more satisfying night's rest. Another key factor in this shift is the absence of external structure. Retirement, reduced social engagements, and less physical activity can all reinforce this earlier bedtime. Without morning alarms or tight schedules, the body naturally drifts toward its own rhythm, sometimes earlier than we expect. But here's the encouraging part. This shift doesn't mean you're losing control. It means your body is adapting. And once you're aware of it, you can adjust your lifestyle to stay aligned with your personal rhythm. Here are a few gentle strategies. Add soft light in the evenings to delay melatonin production. Engage in light social activity after dinner. Talking, puzzles, even music. Delay bedtime by 15 minutes every few days until it feels right. Rather than fighting your body's changes, learning to work with them can create a deeper sense of peace, alignment, and well-being. Waking up at 3 a.m. may no longer feel like a problem. It might simply be your body speaking a new language, one that invites you to listen more closely and adjust with kindness. When the body speaks at night, physical discomfort and health interruptions. Sometimes the reason you wake up at 3 a.m. isn't in your mind or your sleep clock. It's in your body. As we age, our physical systems begin to whisper, and in the quiet of night, those whispers become louder. For many older adults, waking up in the early hours isn't just about sleep. It's about signals. Signals that something, somewhere in the body, is asking for attention. Think of Harold, age 75, who has always been proud of his resilience. But lately he finds himself stirring at 3:15 a.m., not with racing thoughts, but with an ache in his back or a sharp need to use the bathroom. These are not dramatic disruptions. They are subtle, persistent nudges, and they're more common than most of us realize. Let's explore what might be happening under the surface. Chronic joint discomfort. Conditions like arthritis or stiffness from lack of movement during the day can build pressure in the joints. Lying still for hours often exaggerates this discomfort. You may fall asleep without pain, but by 3 a.m. your joints have been in one position too long. The ache becomes your body's gentle alarm. Bladder sensitivity. As we get older, bladder elasticity decreases, and the signals to urinate become stronger and more frequent. What might be tolerable during the day becomes harder to ignore at night when everything is still. A single bathroom trip can tip the balance between restful slumber and full wakefulness. Acid reflux and digestion. Eating dinner too late or reclining too soon afterward can trigger nighttime acid reflux. The result? A burning sensation that creeps into awareness just as melatonin levels drop. And suddenly you're awake. Other quiet culprits? Dry mouth, muscle cramps. A room that's just a bit too cold or too warm. These subtle discomforts take advantage of our lowered sensory threshold during sleep and push us gently back to consciousness. And then there's medication. Many older adults take prescriptions for heart conditions, high blood pressure, inflammation, or chronic pain. These drugs can carry side effects like increased urination, fluctuations in temperature regulation, or sensitivity to sound and light. Sometimes the connection between a medication and disrupted sleep isn't obvious until we zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Take Eleanor, 76, who began waking up consistently around 3:30 a.m. She assumed it was just getting older, but after journaling her patterns and talking to her doctor, they realized her evening medication dose was mildly dehydrating her, making her more likely to wake up thirsty or to need the bathroom. With her doctor's guidance, she adjusted her dose timing and added a small glass of electrolyte water after dinner. The result? Fewer interruptions, and when she did wake up, she returned to sleep more easily. So what's the lesson here? Waking up at 3 a.m. may not mean your body is failing. Quite the opposite. It may be a quiet act of self-preservation. Your body is trying to communicate. It's alerting you, adjusting you, asking you to notice. And that awareness can be powerful. It means instead of resenting the interruption, you can respond with curiosity. What small shift might help? A new pillow to ease joint pressure? A lighter dinner earlier in the evening? A gentle bedtime stretch routine? The more attuned we become to these cues, the more agency we gain. Aging doesn't mean losing control. It means gaining a deeper relationship with the self. So next time you wake at 3 a.m. and feel a physical tug, consider this. Your body isn't betraying you. It's inviting you to listen. The invisible architects of sleep, lifestyle habits that quietly reshape our nights. Sometimes the reason you wake up at 3 a.m. isn't because of your body's biology or physical discomfort. It's simply how you're living. Yes, the small, seemingly innocent choices made throughout the day, they quietly build the architecture of your night. Our days shape our nights far more than we realize. Let's talk about Walter, age 74, recently retired. A few years ago, his days were filled with structure. Morning walks, work meetings, coffee chats with coworkers, evening classes at the community center. Then came retirement, freedom, rest, a slower pace. But that slower pace came with changes. Dinner at 5 p.m., dozing off during the evening news, lights out by 8:30. And without noticing, Walter's internal clock shifted. He began waking up like clockwork, at 3 a.m., alert and confused. Here's what's really happening. Without the natural anchors of social interaction, physical movement, or mental stimulation, the body starts to reprogram itself. Melatonin production starts earlier, sleep pressure builds faster, and the result? Sleep comes early and ends early. This phenomenon is especially common in older adults whose days have become quieter. But lifestyle isn't just about timing. It's also about what and how we consume. Caffeine may be one of the most underestimated sleep disruptors in older adults. Even a small cup of coffee or tea at 2 p.m. can linger in the system for hours, especially as metabolism slows with age. That tiny dose may not keep you from falling asleep, but it might be enough to nudge you awake at 3 a.m. Just as your body enters its lighter sleep phase. Food timing plays a role too. Eating dinner too early, say 4:30 or 5 p.m., can result in low blood sugar around 3 a.m., which can gently wake the body even if you're not hungry. The body perceives this drop as a stressor, activating cortisol and stirring alertness. On the other hand, skipping a bedtime snack entirely, especially after a light early dinner, can amplify this effect. Your body needs energy reserves to maintain deep sleep. Without them, it may shift into a subtle alert state far too soon. Let's return to Walter. After tracking his patterns, he made a few adjustments. He added a short walk after dinner, not intense, just a 10-minute stroll to breathe and stretch. He dimmed the lights in his home gradually after sunset, helping cue melatonin release. He replaced his 2 p.m. coffee with herbal tea. He added a small bedtime snack with complex carbs and protein, something like a few crackers with almond butter or a slice of banana. Within 2 weeks, his 3 a.m. wake-up started fading. His sleep deepened. His energy during the day improved. What we learned from Walter and many others is that routine is powerful. The body craves rhythm. Daily habits serve as signals to the brain saying it's time to wind down or it's time to wake. When those signals get out of sync, the internal sleep-wake cycle can begin to drift. Not because you've done something wrong, but because your environment no longer aligns with your body's deeper needs. But here's the good news. Just as these habits can drift your rhythm, they can also gently restore it. Try this. Add one small moment of movement to your afternoon. Light gardening, dancing to music, or a slow walk. Avoid long naps after dinner, even if you feel drowsy. Use evening light intentionally. Keep lights bright early in the evening, then dim them slowly as bedtime nears. Build a soothing pre-sleep routine, reading, journaling, or stretching. These aren't drastic changes, but they're deeply effective because better sleep doesn't always begin at night. It begins at noon. It begins with how you eat, move, connect, and care for yourself. Your lifestyle becomes your lullaby. And the beauty of this phase of life is that you get to rewrite your rhythm on your terms with intention and with kindness. The quiet mind, at 3 a.m., emotional and psychological wakefulness. There's a certain silence in the early morning hours. The world is still, the lights are off, the air is cool, and sometimes, just sometimes, your body may be perfectly still, but your mind isn't. Waking up at 3 a.m. doesn't always stem from something physical. Often it comes from a deeper place, a place we rarely talk about. Emotion, reflection, unspoken thoughts. For many older adults, especially those who have retired, lost a loved one, or are simply in a quieter season of life, the mind begins to process what the day leaves behind. right when the world goes quiet. You may not be anxious, you may not even feel sad, but your brain, freed from the distractions of the day, starts to whisper. Memories rise, regrets surface, conversations replay, questions echo. This is not pathology. This is humanity. Take Gloria, 80, a widow living alone in Illinois. Her days are full. She gardens, calls her grandchildren, watches cooking shows. But at 3:15 a.m., she often finds herself wide awake, her thoughts drifting to the smell of her husband's cologne, the sound of his laugh, the last conversation they had. Not painful, just present. At first, she thought something was wrong, but slowly she realized her heart simply needed space. The truth is, emotional restlessness is part of the rhythm of aging. We accumulate experiences, love, grief, mistakes, milestones. And in the still hours of early morning, they return for our attention. This wakefulness isn't about sleep, it's about soul. It's your mind and heart inviting you to pause. And while it can feel unsettling, it can also be sacred. These quiet hours are when wisdom is loudest. Here's how you can turn emotional wakefulness into emotional nourishment. Keep a small bedside journal. When you wake, write, even 1 or 2 sentences, not essays, just thoughts. I miss Dan. I wish I had said yes. Today I felt strong. Let the page hold your heart. Create a soft bedtime ritual, light music, aromatherapy, a photo nearby that brings comfort. These cues prepare your emotional self for rest, just like brushing your teeth prepares your body. Connect during the day. Emotional wakefulness at night can often stem from emotional hunger during the day. A phone call, a coffee date, even a walk around the block to wave it to a neighbor can provide a sense of belonging that ripples into the night. Reframe the 3 a.m. moment. Instead of, why am I awake again? Try, what is my heart asking me to notice? Shift from frustration to curiosity, from annoyance to self-kindness. This kind of wakefulness isn't a flaw, it's a feature of a full life. It means you've lived, you've loved, you've lost, you've grown. Your brain and body aren't malfunctioning, they're continuing the sacred work of integrating your experience. What if, instead of trying to silence your mind, you allowed it a few minutes to speak? What if these early wake-ups weren't a problem, but a pause? A soft whisper in the dark saying, I'm still here, and I still have things to say. And what if listening was the beginning of peace? Aging isn't just about physical changes. It's about emotional evolution. And just like our bodies need rest, so do our stories. So the next time you wake at 3 a.m., try this. Breathe, listen, feel, write, and return to rest not from resistance, but from release. A new understanding of 3 a.m., aging, awareness, and the gentle power of change. By now, we've explored the hidden truths behind why older adults often wake up at 3 a.m. We've uncovered the biology, how melatonin quietly declines, how our circadian rhythms shift earlier with time. We've looked at the body, how physical discomforts and health routines interrupt rest. We've turned inward, exploring how emotional needs, longings, and memories gently rise to the surface when everything else is still. And if you're here, still listening, still reflecting, then you've done something powerful. You've honored your experience. You've paused long enough to listen not just to the science, but to yourself. And maybe, just maybe, you're beginning to see that waking up at 3 a.m. isn't something wrong with you, but something real, something natural, something worth noticing. Because here's the truth. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are evolving. As we age, our bodies become quieter, but wiser. Our routines become slower, but richer. And our nights, they become windows into everything our days leave unsaid. Waking up at 3 a.m. might be your body reminding you to adjust, to sleep earlier, or to eat differently, or to take a deeper breath before bed. Or it might be your heart saying, I'm still holding something. Please hear me. And that's not weakness. That's life, speaking its own language. Here's what you can take with you. If it's biology, you can support it with better light habits, calming routines, and a little compassion. If it's your schedule, you can gently shift it by bringing more structure to your days and more softness to your nights. If it's your body, you can care for it by tuning into what hurts, what helps, and what needs healing. If it's your heart, you can listen and let it speak without judgment. Because rest isn't just about sleep. It's about restoration. And restoration begins with understanding. You don't need to fix everything tonight. You don't need to become a perfect sleeper. You simply need to begin again with awareness, with kindness, and with the belief that your body still knows how to rest, if you'll meet it halfway. So the next time you wake at 3 o'clock a.m., here's what I hope you'll remember. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are becoming in ways that are quiet, beautiful, and deeply human. Let this awareness be your blanket. Let compassion be your pillow. And let your breath, soft, slow, steady, guide you back to yourself. Because sleep isn't just what you do at night. It's how you care for who you are at every age. Thank you for being here. If this video touched something in you, share it with someone you love. Someone who may be lying awake in the dark, wondering if something is wrong. Together, let's spread a softer message that rest is not just possible. It is deserved, and the journey to deeper sleep, to deeper understanding, starts not at bedtime, but in the gentle way we care for ourselves. One night and one morning at a time. What you can do next, a gentle invitation to rest, reflect, and share. You've made it here, to the end of this journey, but perhaps it's really just the beginning, because knowing why you wake up at 3 a.m. is only part of the story. The rest, the deeper part, lies in what you choose to do with that understanding. So now, let's turn inward. Let's make it personal. Maybe tonight, or some quiet morning soon, you'll feel that familiar stir in your chest, that wakefulness that used to feel frustrating or mysterious. But now you'll know that your body is simply asking for a bit more care, that your heart is reaching for a softer place to land, that you're not alone in this experience. And that matters. Because there is power in naming what you feel, and there is healing in knowing you are seen, even in the dark. So here's a small invitation. Tonight, light a softer lamp. Add a few more pages to your evening book. Call someone you love, even if just for a moment. And when you wake at 3 o'clock a.m., instead of feeling frustrated, try asking gently, what is my body trying to tell me? You may not have the answer right away. But the asking itself, that quiet act of care, is the beginning of rest. And if this message touched something in you today, share this video with a friend, a sibling, or someone you know who also lies awake when the world is still. Leave a comment below. Not just to tell us you're here, but to tell someone else that they're not alone. Subscribe to this channel so every week you receive stories, insights, and support that speak to exactly where you are in life, with kindness and respect. We believe that rest is a form of wisdom, that aging is not something to fear, but something to honor, and that even when sleep feels broken, your spirit never is. Thank you for letting us be part of your night and your morning. May your next sleep be deeper. May your next morning feel lighter. And may you always remember you are worthy of rest, of care, and of peace at every age and in every hour of the night. The quiet power of connection, because healing doesn't happen alone. Let's take a final breath together, not to end this conversation, but to anchor it deep inside this part of you that may have felt unseen, unheard, or quietly tired for too long. Because while waking up at 3 a.m. may feel like a solitary experience, you're not alone. Hundreds of thousands of older adults across the country, from a small farmhouse in Iowa to a high-rise apartment in San Diego, have sat in the same stillness, wondering what's happening to their sleep, their body, their mind. And that's why this community exists, to offer not just information, but understanding. To remind you that someone out there, perhaps many people, feel the same ache in their knees, the same early morning worries, the same tender tug in the chest that comes with remembering a different time. This isn't just about sleep, it's about dignity, it's about agency, it's about aging with clarity and resting with compassion. So here's what we believe. We believe that healing happens in safe places where people can share without shame. We believe that rest is not a luxury, but a birthright. We believe that just because the world gets quieter with age, doesn't mean your voice should. If something in this video resonated with you, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Not just as a link, but as a message. Hey, I saw this and thought of you. I thought it might make you feel less alone. That's how healing spreads. Not through noise, but through gentle, honest connection. This channel is here for you. And if you'd like to continue this journey, we'll be right here every week with new stories and real insights. Written with care, backed by science and told with heart. Because sleep isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about opening your life. And together, we're learning how to do that one peaceful morning at a time. Thank you for spending this time with us. Gentle takeaways and practical steps. Walking forward with clarity. Now that we've traveled through the quiet hours of 3 a.m. together, not just with facts, but with compassion, it's time to bring it all home. Because insight is only the beginning. What transforms your nights and your days is what you do with it. So let's take this knowledge and shape it into gentle action. Here are the 5 key reasons why older adults often wake up at 3 a.m. And what they're really trying to tell you, reduced melatonin production. Your body naturally produces less melatonin as you age. This powerful sleep hormone is crucial to maintaining deep, restful sleep. Even the smallest changes, like reducing light exposure before bed, avoiding screens, or adding a walk after dinner, can help. Advanced sleep phase shift. Your internal clock slowly moves earlier. You're not broken, you're adjusting. Respect that rhythm, and gradually stretch your evenings with soft light, conversation, or calming activities. A small shift in bedtime can change everything. Physical discomfort and health interruptions. Whether it's arthritis, a full bladder, or side effects from medication, your body may be gently asking for care. Don't ignore those signs. Adjust your sleep position, review your meds with your doctor, or add small comforts like extra pillows or hydration routines. Lifestyle patterns. What you do during the day impacts how you sleep at night. Less activity, earlier dinners, long naps, they all cue your brain to sleep sooner. Consider light snacks, a short afternoon walk, or delaying rest with music or a book. Your habits are powerful messengers. Emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes it's not your body, it's your heart. Loneliness, grief, or reflection often whisper loudest in the stillness. Honor those feelings, write them down, breathe through them. Let yourself feel, but don't let those feelings convince you you're alone. You're not. So where do we go from here? Start with just one change, not 10, not 5, 1. Maybe it's drinking a chamomile tea instead of scrolling your phone. Maybe it's stepping outside for fresh air in the late afternoon. Maybe it's writing a kind word to yourself in a journal at night. Remember, these 3 a.m. moments aren't punishments. They're invitations to listen, to care, to realign, and most of all, to trust that your body, even in its shifting state, is still profoundly wise. Let it speak, let it rest, let it heal. And when you wake tomorrow, whether it's 6 a.m. or 3 a.m., know that you're waking up to a deeper understanding of yourself. That, my friend, is what healing truly looks like.